It's time for Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccr.com. Coach's Corner is brought to you by Todd's Electric, James Pharmacy, Lamb Motors, Avera, Hawaii Federal Credit Union, and Edward Jones Financial. Coach's Corner is also brought to you by Graham Tire, Kruger Contracting, CHS River Plains, Gales Gas, Bank West, and Capital City Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota. From the KCCR studios in Pierre, KCCR award-winning sports director John Winkler.
We welcome you inside the KCCR studios here on this Wednesday evening, as it is the final Coach's Corner of the 2023-24 school year, calendar year, as we wrap up our season here later on tonight, as we will talk with head coach of the Hawaii Capitals, Steve Steele, the boys, Jim Wadeen of the girls, also talking about the Pierre Governor basketball teams, Brandon Kusler, the Pierre boys team, Kirk Bebow, the Pierre girls team. We'll also talk with Joey Fisher of the Stanley County Buffaloes as they get set for their Sodak 16 qualifying game coming up on Friday as well. So big show to close out the season. It's state tournaments, it's playoff basketball. We've got it all right here on KCCR. We'll talk about with those coaches coming up here in just a little bit. We'll start off talking with Steve Steele of the Hawaii Capitals after this. You're listening to Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
Building a home. It's the biggest investment most of us make in a lifetime. Not to mention it's a decision that, well, you pretty much live with day and night. The quality of the workmanship stares back at you like a reflection. It also affects the value of your investment. Choosing the right contractor is critical. Kruger Contracting is that contractor. Call 222-2523. Quality workmanship and materials completed on time. Kruger Contracting. In a word, quality. Call 222-2523.
Most of us already know that Gales Gas of Pierre is the place to call for propane. They offer an automatic fill plan so you never have to worry about running out of propane. They accept debit and credit payments or a budget payment plan to spread out the cost throughout the year so you never have surprises when you get your bill. For delivery, convenience, and great customer service, call Gales Gas at 224-5518. That's Gales Gas at 224-5518.
Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined. So y'all can sit here and ask me all the questions y'all want to. I'm going to answer with the same answer, so y'all can shoot if y'all please.
This is Coach's Corner on your home for the Pierre Governors, KCCR, and online at kccrradio.com.
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Steve Steele, the Hawaii Capitals. Regular season wrapped up this past weekend. State tournament coming up the next weekend. You went 1-2 this past weekend against obviously number 1 and number 3 teams in the state, then beating Watertown, the number 8 team going into the state tournament. But overall, the last weekend of the season, what did you like? What was the biggest takeaway of success for that weekend?
Yeah, I think we tried a couple new things this weekend. We kind of knew going into this weekend that things were for the most part set. We didn't really have an opportunity to move up very far at all or move down very far at all. So, we felt it was a low-risk weekend to kind of try some different things that, we might want to use in the state tournament. So we had a lot of success with some of those, some of them not so much. But I think we learned a lot, and we played very, very well. I think all 3 games we played extremely well. Like you said, the competition was very tough Friday and Sunday, and even Saturday. We were just able to pull that one out. But I think the way we played gave us an opportunity to win all 3 games.
Well, and we can talk about all 3 games, but the game that you won, you talk about how tough that was, because it's a new arena for everybody. The excitement, that extra energy that Watertown gets from having a new arena, all the fans that were there, that it was a lot of fun to be a part of. But also, it's kind of like playing someone on a homecoming night, where sometimes that gives them the extra motivation to play better than and play up to where they normally are.
Yeah, I think the fun part about that night was just that, it was what an atmosphere. Obviously it's a beautiful facility, just incredible, what the city's done for them there. But, with the free admission with the city that weekend, giving free admission to the games, that was a pretty full barn. And that just made for such a fun atmosphere for the kids. Really cool way to kind of play a high school hockey game, just something special that usually you only see that kind of a crowd at the state tournament and honestly even in the semifinals of the state state tournament finals, not even a first-round game. So really fun atmosphere for the guys to enjoy, and it was a really good hockey game.
Brookings, a team that lost once all season. You pretty much lose to them 3-1, 4-1 with the empty net goal, but a 3-1 game, especially in Brookings, where it's a really tough place to play every single time, every single year, and then have to go there again this next weekend to play in the state tournament, whether you play Brookings or not. But a lot of confidence probably coming out of that game, even though it was a 4-1 loss.
Yeah, and I think we accomplished our goal initially of getting a lead. I think that was a very concerted effort on our part. And then we had 4 breakaways in the first period and resulted in 1 shot on net. I think we gave ourselves a ton of opportunities to really seize control of that hockey game, and we weren't able to do it. And if you look in the past at the years that we have found a way to beat Brookings, it's been by finding a way to attack and capitalize on your chances. And we can't come away with no goals on 4 breakaways in the first period. And on the flip side of that, finding 4 breakaways in the first period against a good defensive team like Brookings was a very good thing for our guys. So I think there's still a lot of confidence to be had coming out of that game.
And then Sunday against Sioux Falls West, had a chance to tie it up in the last, kept it within 1 goal in the last 14 and a half minutes, and just didn't get that tying goal, but that take away from that last game of the season.
Yeah, again, I think that really kind of completed the weekend of the different adjustments we were looking at going into the state tournament here, and really, really great effort from the guys that night. We were really close to pulling that off as a tie at the end there, and had a couple of chances earlier in that as well. The power play really did a great job that day. I think they were 3 for 4 on Sunday, and really did a good job of adjusting, from the previous 2 days of that weekend and finding ways to make a difference.
Now you get the week off. Obviously, JV guys will be playing in the JV state tournament this coming weekend, but having that weekend off for the varsity guys and knowing that the JV guys are only going to play in those 3 games and not play a 6-game weekend where they're playing some in JV and some varsity. What's kind of the message this week of making sure guys get healthy, making sure guys are getting ready to go, especially those varsity-only guys?
Yeah, it's a much more sharpening week than it is anything else. We're not doing a bunch of drills. We're kind of looking mainly at the adjustments that we covered in the games this weekend, and just kind of retooling just a little bit to try and make sure that we've got everything where we want it schematically going into next week. And it's a great week for, Aiden Beam's got to be just exhausted. He played a lot of minutes this weekend. And the JV guys had a great weekend. They ended up going 2-1 and jumping from 8 to 6 and get a rematch with the team they just beat here in the first round. So really, really quality weekend from those guys. And I said Aiden had a crazy weekend of ice time. So, he definitely needs a break. Some of those guys that are playing on both squads need a break, and the older guys that are not, the one-way guys, are really just kind of looking at some of the things that we're going to try and do, the things that we're going to keep that we tried this last weekend heading into the state tournament.
One of the things, too, that we kind of talk about every year, but you can't look past your opponent, but you also got to be ready for every opponent going into the state tournament, because you don't have the days off between games to then go back to practice and then scout and work through game plans and stuff like that. So how do you handle that? Obviously, Sioux Falls East, your first opponent. Do you spend most of next week talking about them? Do you talk about potentially facing Brookings or Watertown, because that's the 1-8 matchup, and you're going to play one of those 2 teams regardless of the outcome? But how do you handle knowing how everybody is, being prepared for everybody without being not prepared for that first game?
I think our biggest focus is just putting on, getting as many tools in our chest as we can, and how many different things can we feel comfortable doing in a game, and different schemes that we can look at, different matchups, different lines, different combinations, and the planning part of that is, we will use different tools against different teams, and we just hope that we can get comfortable enough doing the different things that no matter who we do play, we can fit the right tool, the right situation, and everyone can be on the same page as to why we're using that specific scheme or that matchup or that line, against that opponent. So that's a little bit more of it. We're not focusing totally into this is exactly what this team does, this is what this team does. We're going to focus more on ourselves and getting all of our pieces aligned properly to whoever we end up playing.
Talking with Steve Steele here, the White Capitals, who will be in the state tournament, not this weekend, but the following weekend. JV will play this weekend, with the varsity will be the next weekend, and Brookings will have all 11 games on Capital City Rock and on YouTube at Capital City Rock Sports for that tournament. The other thing, too, I know there's a politically correct answer for it, but do you like the spot that you're in, and the teams that are in that top bracket with you compared to the teams in the bottom of the bracket?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, it's a great thing to get to play East. They're a team we tied, but we weren't able to beat them in the regular season, and I think we all want to be able to go and beat them. It's just something about being able to go and beat all the teams. That's what you want to be able to do, and the competitor in me wants us to have a path of all three teams that we didn't beat in the regular season and beat all three of them and bring the trophy home. Obviously that's what you want, but at the end of the day, you just got to be prepared to play everybody and play your best hockey for 3 days in a row, and I think we're in a good spot right now to do that.
This is the first time in quite some time that you're not playing Friday morning. I guess the 2019 state tournament, when we had 6 games in one day and had only 2 games to be played that night, but basically since 2020 and since you've been the head coach and past that this is not a morning game for the Capitals on that Friday. And obviously this is the last coaches' quarter of the year, so we kind of want to talk a little bit more about that. How nice is it to maybe play in the afternoon, play a 2 o'clock game? Because obviously then you want to play night and afternoon again on Saturday, Sunday, but is it nice to have that afternoon game, early afternoon game on Friday?
Yeah, I don't know that's mattered a ton. I mean, we've been able to find success in the morning. We had 1 year where we were in this time slot playing against Aberdeen, and we were able to have success that game. Yeah. We've had 3 mornings, and then this will be the second afternoon game. But it's all our routine won't really change. Our routine will just be a little bit later than it would be. Where our morning meeting's not going to be at 6 this year. It'll probably be more about 9 or 10. So. Guys will appreciate that a little bit, but I think once the routine starts, everyone's going regardless of what time it is.
I'm glad your memory is better than mine. I forgot about that year when you guys were the 4-5 matchup in Aberdeen. But let's talk then, real quick as we start to wrap it up here. The success you need. What's a successful thing? What's the key to success on that Friday against Sioux Falls East to make sure you get into that second round? Obviously, being that first one because you don't know who your opponent will be after that. But what's the key to success to beat Sioux Falls East on that Friday?
Yeah, the biggest thing when you're playing that team is just going to be discipline. I mean, they've got a couple really good players that can score from a lot of places. We've got to be disciplined with the puck, and we've got to possess the puck. I think that was a big challenge we put out to our guys this last weekend was to play a possession-style hockey, not to just dump the puck in and get rid of it as much, and to try and go in with control and maintain control. And, even though that may result in a few less shots, we felt like we're getting a lot more quality looks from playing that style. So, if we can continue to force the teams to play the way that we want to play the game, then I think that we'll have a good shot against anybody.
And obviously, being the 5 seed, if you do win that first round, you've already then finished higher than your seed. So I guess that's more the question is you kind of basically answer that because you get the first win, you're finishing higher. But the key to success overall the entire weekend to make sure that you finish as high as you possibly can here that weekend of the state tournament.
Yeah, it's just all about again playing the way that we've been practicing and trying to force teams to play the style that we want to play. I think that the problems that we've run into this season has been when we've played the way that other teams want to play because I said they're going to be a lot better at that than we are. So if we can force them to play the style that we want, the type of hockey game that goes the same kind of way that we want it to go, then I think that's why we're going to be able to have a successful tourney.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time. It was good talking to you throughout the entire year of Coach's Corner. Looking forward to the state tournament coming up this weekend, and we'll talk to you again in the fall when football rolls around in Coach's Corner. But good luck this coming week getting ready for the state tournament, and good luck next weekend in the state tournament.
Thanks, John.
As head coach Steve Steele, the White Capitals will return with more Coach's Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
Look, it's no secret that owning a vehicle can cause a lot of stress, and they get a lot of wear and tear on them through every season. Graham Tire wants you to know that you can trust them with any problem that you have with your vehicle. They have fully trained ASE certified mechanics on staff, ready to handle it for you. From brakes and bearings to alignments and front ends. Let their experience work for you. Over 50 years combined means you can count on them. So if it's time for a transmission flush or even a simple oil change, the only name you need to know is Graham Tire, 421 West Sioux Avenue in Pierre.
This fall, take some time to think about your future while the leaves make their way down to earth and the last sunset of summer leaves us with an autumn chill. It's time to grab the nearest foam finger and break out the face paint. Rush the stands with First Dakota National Bank and forget how to blink. Fall sports are back with jaw-dropping plays, an electric atmosphere, and epic scores. Make some noise with First Dakota National Bank. Open a new account online today at firstdakotanationalbank.com. Member FDIC.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now I'm playing for real.
Yeah, you're doing pretty good. What play should I call now? Maybe corner three.
He's hot. He is hot. Keep feeding that guy.
Now back to Coach's Corner with KCCR award-winning sports director John Winkler.
As we welcome back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Brianna Kusler of the Pierre boys basketball team getting set for the Sodak 16 on Saturday. Sioux Falls, Washington, a team that you played back in early January. One of those games where you one to kind of forget about it, and now you got to remember about it a little bit here. But the excitement of this week, obviously the playoff time is always exciting. What's that like to have the excitement of the playoff basketball back?
It's great. You know, there's nothing that compares to, it will be the beginning of March, but March Madness, and then that's essentially just your playoff basketball. And, it doesn't matter if it's at the NCAA level or if it's at the high school level. Postseason basketball is an exciting time of year for everybody. And we couldn't be more excited for the week ahead of us right now and being able to get a solid week of practice and preparation, which is something that we haven't had for quite some time. This was the first week that we haven't played on a Tuesday in about a month, or a little over a month. So it's kind of nice to just have consecutive days of practice, get them focused on basketball, but still being able to focus on everything else as well in preparation toward Saturday.
Well, and obviously being on the road, that already makes it a difficult task, no matter when during the regular season, postseason, being on the road's tough. Washington, obviously a good team, they're in that spot for a reason. But this is a matchup where I think when you look back at the first time you guys played, that shooting-wise, if it's a little bit better, this is not a 5-12 matchup that you might think is a walkover for a 5 seed. This is a good matchup for the Pierre Governors.
Certainly. I think when you look back at that game, it was somewhat uncharacteristic in certain areas of the game, primarily rebounding. We got outboarded by, I think, 13. And there are not many games that we're being outboarded at all, but 13 especially is way too many. So you close that gap, and they're athletic, they're aggressive, but we certainly need to do a better job of locating them. And then the second thing is we scored 2 points in the third quarter. I joked yesterday that it's only up from there, and then I'm like, well, I guess we could score 0, but knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But you're speaking of 8 minutes. That's a long time to only score 2 points, and it wasn't without the quality looks that we wanted. The ball just didn't go in the hole for us that night, and so I think there's a lot of good things that we can certainly take away from the first time that we played them, but a lot of it is controllable things on our side of the game.
And that's got to make things a lot more excitement. Obviously, playoff basketball itself is exciting, as we just talked about. But knowing that a lot of this is on your side of the ball to be able to, hey, we cleaned this up. All of a sudden, we're in this game. It's not trying to take more than what you can chew to try and beat this Washington team. It's all right there for the Governors. This is a very winnable game for Pierre.
Absolutely, and that's the way that we need to attack it. Is this is ours. We're not going to let somebody go take it. It doesn't come without effort. It doesn't come without. It's going to be very difficult, but we're capable of it. And that's the message that's being sent. Playing. You saw last Friday in our Roosevelt game. While we didn't come away with the win, we saw a lot of really positive things in the taking steps to be playing our best basketball when it matters the most, and that's what we wanted to be doing. Whether it result, of course, we would have loved it to result in a win, but it didn't, and it's still something that there's a lot of things we can take away from that. Continue to fine tune some stuff, and you know that Washington's doing the same for us coming up as well. So we've got to be prepared for just about anything to be thrown at us, and being able to do the same as well.
This Washington team, from the first time you guys played them to just recently, anything change? Anything stand out on film that's might have changed about this team?
Not a ton, they're kind of a little bit of a roller coaster team. I think they sit with a 13-7 record, and that just shows you the difference between 5 and 12 seed is 3 games. 3 wins, I guess you could say, and so that's how. Right in the middle, you look 4 through 13, really. It's pretty wide open. Anything can happen. It's postseason basketball for anybody, but especially how close and how narrow the margin was between a lot of teams right in there. So, they went out west last weekend and they had a pretty close one with Stevens. So that was nice to see, and some other familiar opponents as of recent. But they've kind of been a little bit like us as of late, just a little bit of a roller coaster, and certainly we're both doing whatever we can to be playing our best game come next Saturday.
We talked a little bit about what was in that Washington game, but when you looked at film on that game and then you looked at film the last time for your last game and for Pierre, what maybe stands out that's changed a little bit, if there's anything that's really changed about the Governors?
I think the dictating tempo was a big takeaway for us, and being able, you saw on Friday, we were able to push the tempo. We got things out in transition, got some quick buckets, some simple action early, and then just execution offensively when it mattered the most. The guys, the difference on Friday was there were a couple shots that just didn't go our way, and really shooting percentage was the only thing that wasn't in our favor. We outboarded them. We shot more free throws than them. All of that type of stuff. You check all of those boxes, and that's certainly an area of emphasis for us on Saturday. Will be free throws, getting the line. The goal is always to make more than the other team even attempts, and that just is a sign of aggression. It shows that you are being the aggressor and you're not allowing them to dictate. I think the first time we played them, we shot 7 free throws, and when you've gone in certain games this year that we've shot 20 plus free throws, you could tell there's a difference in that. And some of that comes obviously officiating, but a lot of it is just we've got to be the aggressors and not allowing a defense to dictate what we want to do offensively. And then continuing to play solid defense as well. There were a few things. We let a couple shooters go too much the first time that we saw them, and just slowing that down, and then creating opportunities for ourselves with how hard we're working defensively to create some simple offense.
A couple questions here before we wrap things up. One, this group, obviously you guys went to the state tournament last year. What would it mean for this group to get to the state tournament? When you look back at the beginning of this season and had that first practice, obviously the goal is to get to the state tournament. But now that you're here in that final step, what would it mean for this group after day one to make it to the state tournament this year?
It's as everybody wants. Everybody wants that chance at a state title, and you don't get there without this first step. But talk about a group of kids that deserves it and has done the work to hopefully earn that opportunity. They're awesome kids. They work hard every single day, whether we won or lost the night before. They would come ready to work. They're not afraid to be critiqued. They're not afraid to be coached. In fact, they want to be coached. They want to be coached hard. And I think they're just, when you watch them play, they share the basketball. You never know who is going to get hot in what night, because they find that person. And so you just look across the board at all of them and how badly they want it and how badly we as coaches want that for them. They deserve it, and that's about as basic as it can get, but that's we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that they have that opportunity to go and experience a state tournament and see what we can do.
A final question, biggest key here for the Governors to win on Saturday to get to the state tournament?
Locating shooters is going to be very important. Defense. It's something that we've reiterated numerous times this year and every year. But defense is going to win us this game here, and making sure that our defense is then allowing our offense to transition and getting some quick buckets in transition. We don't want to get into a track meet with them. They're athletes. They can play quick, but we want to make sure that we're the ones dictating things, limiting what they get in transition, but most importantly, that defense and rebounding. We sound like a broken record, but it's been proven to win games, and we've got to make sure that we're doing whatever we can to do that.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time as always. Good luck on Saturday, and hoping talking to you in the state tournament here in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
That's Coach Brandon Kusler, the Pierre boys basketball team, with more Coaches Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
Hey you. Are you at a job that is fulfilling, has good benefits to support you or a family today, and retirement goes down the road? If you just said no, listen up. CHS River Plains is hiring operations personnel, drivers, and custom applicators at several locations. These come with a knockout affordable benefit package for you and the whole family. Apply to a job with CHS River Plains and up your benefits straight up. To apply, visit us online at chsriverplains.com or stop in at one of our locations. CHS is an equal opportunity employer.
Score big on your next vehicle purchase with Lamb Motor Company in Oneida and Gettysburg, Lamb Chevrolet and Implement in Oneida, and Lamb Auto Sales in Pierre. Check out their large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs at any one of their locations, or go online to lambmotor.com. That's LAMBMOTOR.com. Or give them a call today at 800-952-2222. Lamb Motor Company of Oneida and Gettysburg, Lamb Chevrolet and Implement in Oneida, and Lamb Auto Sales in Pierre.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota's sports leader, KCCR.
You like that? You like that?
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Kirk Bebout of the Pierre Governors as they get set for the SODAC 16 game coming up on Friday against the Huron Tigers, who they played back on February 6th, and we'll talk about that. But, Coach, it's good talking to you again, and it's a fun time of the year. Playoff basketball is kind of bittersweet because you get the end of the year stuff, but always a fun time of the year. How excited are you to get the playoffs rolling and have this week upon us here for the SODAC 16?
Yeah, I think bittersweet is kind of the right way to say it. I mean, it's exciting and it's a fun opportunity, and we're looking forward to that. But yeah, it also means that we're coming to an end. So there's a lot of emotions and things that go into that. So part of it is managing those things and trying to enjoy all the time that we have left.
Getting set for this Huron game on Friday. Obviously, you get the full week to prepare. How do you handle that? Because obviously you can game plan for Huron all week long, and you can do that. But how much do you mix and match with what you guys do and what Huron does? Maybe a little bit more so than during the regular season when you're going game after game. Does that change at all this week? Getting prepared for Huron?
Not a whole lot. I mean, we prepare the same way for every single game, and we don't kind of change our preparation, just because it's playoff time. So we prepare the same way, all the time. And, you're right, we have a couple more days than usual, but so it's a combination of those things. Some of preparing for Huron, and then mainly it's what we do and making sure that we are squared away with what we want to do.
Well, and let's go back to that Huron game because that was back on February 6th. So by the time that the game played on Friday, March 1st, it's just about a month later. How much do you draw from that game? But also, in general, what you liked about what the team did against Huron the first time?
As far as drawing from that game, I mean, I guess it just means we have a little bit of familiarity with each other. I mean, they have the same with us. Now they kind of know some of our tendencies and what to expect, but other than that, every single game is so different. I mean, you could play the same team 100 times and no two games are going to be alike. So you never know what's going to happen. There's so many different things that can happen throughout a basketball game that changes everything. So, you can only draw so much. Thinking back to that game, I just remember that we ended up, making some shots. So that's usually what basketball games come down to, like who makes some shots at the right time. And that's kind of what happened for us in that game. In third quarter, fourth quarter, we had some girls step up and hit some shots.
Well, and we'll go back to last week now, beating Jefferson on the road and then beating Roosevelt at home. Obviously, Jefferson, that team that's 15-5, and one on the road and by 4. Always tough to win the road, tough to win AA basketball, a 9 in and 9 out, and then you throw on a team that's very, very good on top of it. How key is that win from Tuesday, the confidence level for these girls? Not that they weren't confident to begin with, but to beat a team like Jefferson, to get that win on the road, how key is that, especially at the end of the season?
Yeah, I was just excited for the girls. I mean, we've been in a lot of close games this year, and we've been doing a lot of the right things, and it was just nice to get one, to know, like, we are a high caliber level team. You win some of those close ones, and sometimes you don't get them, but it was nice that we got one, just to remind ourselves that we can play with and beat anybody when we're locked in. So, and it's coming off a heartbreaking loss. We had come from 17 down in the second half against Mitchell, and had a lead in the final minute a couple different times, and they made a big shot at the end, and that always hurts, and it's heartbreaking. It's crazy how one play here or there can so dramatically affect how you feel about a game. So I was just super impressed with our girls, because we went back to that first half of the Mitchell game, and we looked at a lot of the things that were not us, and things that we never wanted to let happen again, and they were so coachable about that and receptive, and it's just, these girls are amazing in that they always want to get better, and I can us as coaches, we can point to some things that we're not doing or that we need to do better, and they're totally receptive to that, and that's a good sign for their futures, because that's life. We all have things that we can get better at, and the fact that they take that so well and use it and learn from it so quickly just shows how amazing these girls are.
Again, talking with Coach Kirk Bebout here, the Pierre Governors, who will take on Huron with a 6 o'clock tip-off. That game will be on KCCR here on Friday night at Riggs High School. To go back to that point here of being able to be coachable, this is a team that over the last couple of years, and last year especially, getting the state tournament, getting the championship game, and then this year, the aspirations and the maybe not, I guess, expectations too, but wanting to get back to that spot, at least in the state tournament. This is a team that is all about wanting to win. You've talked about it a lot too, and how selfless these players are, and it shows by how they want to get better too. That they're not selfish by saying that they're better, that they don't need that. Like, everybody is wanting to get better. Can you put into words how special something like that is? Because it's not an easy thing, and it's hard to coach too, to try and get kids that want to be better, and they're something like that. How special is that from a coach's perspective?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I think you touched on a lot of it, but this day and age, there's so many different distractions and other things, kind of trying to take away from some of that stuff. It's really easy to make excuses or find someone that's going to agree with you or try to take you off task or try to make it into a selfish thing. And these girls haven't done that, and I would say, that's coming back to these seniors, that's the culture that they've created, is that we're one team. We have the same hopes and the same aspirations. We speak the same language. We do the same things. We prepare the same way. And, that's the culture that these girls, specifically our seniors, have created. And that's, that cannot be understated. And it's just a special thing and something that I'm so blessed to be a part of.
All right, let's before we start to wrap it up, we get back to Huron here. A couple of keys for success. Not so much the number one key, but a couple of keys to get off to a good start. Which we've talked to that sometimes the Governors haven't got off to good starts, but have finished great in games. But the keys to get the motor going early on in the game against Huron.
Yeah, we've talked about that. We haven't had the starts that we wanted to, and I think we've kind of corrected that the last couple of games, so that's good to see. But, I wouldn't focus too much on the start. I would just say that it's going to be one possession at a time. We're not going to get it all at once. We're not going to be able to come out first 3 minutes and the game's going to be over. It's not going to work that way. So you just got to keep going one possession to the next, play after play, and give everything you have for every single possession. Then if you do that and you stay locked in and focused, hopefully, through the course of the game, it all adds up and you end up where you want to be. As far as a couple of keys go, rebounding is a huge key for us. we got to make sure that we're doing our work there, and then other than that, it's just just doing what we do, I guess. I mean, it's always nice to make some shots and things like that, but just controlling what we can control. Stay focused on our energy and our effort and our commitment to what we want to do, and make sure we get some rebounds, and we'll be okay.
And before we wrap things up, too, not so much give you a chance to make a plea, but just a statement of why you should go watch the Pierre Governors play at Riggs High School, why it should be a packed house on Friday night to watch the Govs take on Huron.
Well, if you've watched them play already, then you already know. I mean, these girls play extremely hard. They play together. They play the right way. They play for each other. They play for the community. They act the right way. They got great sportsmanship, and they're great kids. So if you've seen them play before, then you already know. And if you haven't seen them, then you got to see them.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. It is a fun and a great team to watch throughout this entire season, and one win away from getting back to that state tournament again next week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Sioux Falls. So, Coach, this is the last Coach's Corner of the year, so I do appreciate you coming on the times that you've been on, and especially here today, too, as well. But good luck coming up on Friday. Appreciate the time, and we'll hopefully be talking again, come next week for pregame interviews for some state tournament games.
Yep, that sounds great. Appreciate it.
That is head coach Kirk Bebout of the Pierre Governors. We'll return with more Coach's Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. kccrradio.com.
People helping people. Have you ever wondered what the benefits are of becoming a Owyhee Federal Credit Union member? At Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we reinvest profits in you. We do this in the form of lower interest rates, higher dividends, and low to no fees. So come check us out or come in at 221 East Pleasant Drive in Pierre, because at Owyhee Federal Credit Union, we treat our members like they own the place because, well, they do.
Owyhee Federal Credit Union.
As community bankers, BankWest employees are deeply committed to supporting local causes, growing the local economy, and creating local opportunities. At a time when you can bank anywhere, we hope you choose BankWest. We'll be your financial partner for the long haul, helping you and your community achieve financial success. BankWest. Convenient, connected, committed. Member FDIC.
Talk to you. You're listening to Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota's sports leader, KCCR.
Yeah. As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Jim Wadeen of the Owyhee Capitals, as the girls team will be in the state tournament starting on Friday. Friday afternoon, they'll play the 2 o'clock game against the Brookings Rangers, the 4-5 matchup. The Capitals, the 4 seed, and the Rangers, the 5 seed. And, Coach, it's good talking to you again. We're getting set for the state tournament. How exciting is this week for the girls, for the coaches, just in general? And it's always bittersweet because the season means it's coming to an end, but it's the exciting time of the state tournament. How excited can you feel the energy in practice kind of pick up a little bit more?
Yeah, it's been really great, John. This past couple weeks, we've been able to focus just on the varsity players, and practice has been really fast. The girls have been really creative in some of the passing and some of the movements they're doing out on the ice, and you can definitely feel the excitement and the energy in the team right now.
And as a fan of hockey, the 4-5 matchups are always in that first round, are supposed to be the best matchups because they're the closest seeds, and most of the time they end up being some great matchups too. But a fan of hockey, this is going to be a fun matchup between the Capitals and Rangers. Obviously, on the coaching side of things, not that you're going to sit here and say you're super nervous or anything like that. I think there's always nerves when you're coaching, but overall, it's a good matchup, but it's going to be a tough matchup for both these teams going in the first round.
Yeah, Brookings, they put together a really good hockey program. They put together good teams year after year, and their teams tend to grow and develop as the season goes on, and they have a tendency to hit their peak performance right at state tournament time. So the fact that we beat them twice this year doesn't really mean a whole lot as far as I'm concerned. I know that Brookings is going to come out, and we're going to be the team that they want to beat more than anybody else right now. So we've got to be prepared for that.
And that's the thing too, is you see everybody twice. Everybody plays each other twice throughout the year, so you're not unfamiliar with any team that comes in the state tournament. But being a team that you last played the middle of January or late January, what do you think, or maybe seen a little bit over the last couple of games that's a little bit different about this Brookings team that you didn't see the first two times?
Well, they're faster. They move the puck better than they did the first time we saw them. They've definitely worked a lot on their positioning. They've got a few set plays that they like to run in the offensive zone. So there's some things like that we've been practicing here in the last couple of weeks to try to counter those plays.
And this. I guess one thing is, how key is a good start against Brookings or just in general this weekend. Obviously, you guys played a 2-1 game back in January where you had the 1-0 lead and then scored late to win it, make it to win 2-1. But how important, especially state tournament, to get that first round game, how important is it to have a good start to get the legs going early on and maybe get the nerves out of the way early on too?
Oh, yeah, I think it's going to be critical for sure. I expect this to be a low-scoring game on both sides, so every goal that's scored is going to be extremely important, and it's going to be really important for our girls to come out and start the game strong, to start it fast, and have the ability to maintain that throughout the entire game.
Hey, and this is a team that's for the Capitals who has a lot of experience from the state tournament because you returned a lot of players from last year. But one thing too is how important is that veteran, not maybe so much leadership, but the being there before, being in the state tournament before. How key is that for the start of that first game?
Well, I think it gives us a bit of an advantage, every girl that we're bringing with us out to Brookings this year, or out to Watertown for the state tournament this year, is experienced in playing in state tournaments. Even the couple girls that we picked up that played for the boys last year, they've all been through the state tournament process, and they know and understand it. And then even our younger players experienced it last year, and they know how important it is to win that first game, and really how important it is to stay strong through the entire tournament.
Talking with Jim Modine here of the Hawaii Capitals. They play at 2 o'clock on Friday against the Brookings Rangers in the first round of the girls' state tournament up in Watertown. All 11 games of the state tournament will be on Capital City Rock and on YouTube at Capital City Rock Sports. Looking at the tournament as a whole, and as a fan of hockey, 1 through 8, and really when you say 1 through 8, maybe 1 through 6, this is a tournament that, you see Sioux Falls and Aberdeen kind of be the cream of the crop at 1 and 2, but when you look at 3, 4, 5, and even into 6 a little bit too, that this is a tournament that still is kind of wide open for a lot of teams. If you play 3 really good games, there's teams that can fight for a championship here.
There really is, yeah. I think this year probably more so than last year, especially. I think that it's an open race for that championship right now between those top 5 teams, 6 teams, because they're all good. They've all got really talented players. They all move really well, and they play really good hockey. So it's not going to be it's not going to be up for grabs for just the top 2 teams. There's strong competition for everybody.
You've been here before. You know what to get yourself prepared for each game. Obviously, you can't look to Saturday until Friday is done with, and you won't even know your opponent, regardless of winning or losing on Friday, until after that last game is done for the day. But getting set for Saturday, you hope that it's a 7 o'clock game, and because you're going to play the last game of the day with the win on Friday, you play the state semifinal on Saturday. But to turn around that quick and be prepared for that next game, what's the mindset that the girls have to have? What you have to have as a coach to not worry about Saturday until after Friday is done, but then quickly turn around and be ready for Saturday, and then vice versa on Sunday as well, to be ready for a Sunday game after Saturday is done with.
Well, the message that our girls are going to get leading up to this first game and throughout the entire weekend is going to be to just go out and have fun and enjoy the moment. Enjoy enjoy this moment of state tournament and go out and have fun every time you're out on the ice. These girls, they have the skills, they have the talent, and they know how to play the game. And they play their best game when they're out there really having a lot of fun. And so I'm going to encourage them to have fun. I'm going to encourage them to enjoy this moment, knowing that if they do that, they're also going to play their best hockey. And that's what's going to give us the best opportunity to win these games.
Again, talking with Jim Wadeen of the Hawaii Capitals. We'll wrap up here with these next two questions. First one is the biggest key for a win Friday against Brookings. What is that big key to get the third win against Brookings?
Well, I think you mentioned it earlier in this conversation, John. It's going to be coming out and getting a quick start on the game, not giving Brookings any time to get set up, not giving Brookings any opportunity to feel that they're going to win this game. We have to come out strong from the very first puck drop, and we're going to have to skate that way through the entire game.
And then final question is, whatever it might be, whether it's a state championship, third place finish, what maybe not so much what qualifies a good state tournament for the Capitals, but what's going to be a big key for the Capitals to have a successful state tournament, not just on Friday, but all 3 days of the state tournament. What's the big key to have that to qualify for a good state tournament?
I want to see the girls working together. I want to see a lot of teamwork. I want to see the girls having fun. And if they do that, it'll be a successful tournament regardless of where we end up.
All right, I lied. One more question because we're at the new Watertown Ice Arena. How excited are you to be there? How excited are the girls to be able to play there? The excitement level of just the facility, of a brand new facility, how much fun is that in the anticipation of getting to that arena on Friday?
Oh, it's really exciting. I haven't seen it yet, but the pictures that I have seen, it looks like an amazing facility. I think that Watertown really went above and beyond with everything they did out there. So I think it's going to be really exciting to see it, and really quite an honor to be the first tournament to play in that facility. So I think it's going to be great.
Absolutely. And well, Coach, I appreciate the time as always. Good talking to you. Looking forward to this weekend. And as a Capital team, is a lot of fun to be watching all season. You can, if you aren't making it out to Watertown, you can watch it on YouTube at Capital City Rock Sports. We'll also have the games on the air on 104.5 Capital City Rock. Coach, I appreciate the time. Good luck Friday. Good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thanks, John. Thanks for your support.
That is head coach Jim Wadeen of the Hawaii Capitals. More with Coach's Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
At Shane's Pharmacy, your health care is important, and Shane wants to be the pharmacist to take care of you. Shane's Pharmacy will make sure your prescriptions are filled in a timely manner, they will answer your questions, and they will even deliver to your home or office. Call 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy, the pharmacy you know and trust. The number again is 223-9200. Shane's Pharmacy in Fort Pierre, proud to support high school athletics.
Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota is serving the Central South Dakota community and beyond with a great selection of used vehicles. Local trades and program vehicles are available. New Toyotas and new Fords are arriving and selling before they even hit the lot. So don't wait. Stop in and find out what's coming. If you've been thinking about ordering a new Ford, stop in and sit down with one of our sales specialists today. Capital City Ford Lincoln Toyota at 518 East Sioux Avenue in Pierre. Call 605-224-7378 and visit CapitalCityFordToyota.com.
That's a clown question, bro.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
As we welcome you back to Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com. Joining me is Coach Joey Fisher of the Sealy County Buffaloes, who won on Tuesday night last night and will play on Friday against Shining Eagle Butte for a spot in the Sodak 16. And, Coach, let's go back to last night's game, a 67-63 win over Crow Creek. Biggest takeaway, well, maybe the biggest takeaway is the season's still going on, but biggest takeaway for that win for the Buffaloes to advance to Friday's game?
You know, coming into last night, we'd really just preach one game at a time, and this was one that we had kind of circled when we found out who we were going to play. We went to Crow Creek earlier and lost kind of a tough one, and we hit that point where it was probably one of the worst games we'd played that year, and we just said we're not going to allow this to happen again. And when we played them that first time, that was kind of the turning point. And one thing I thought that the boys did a really good job of last night was it was a game of runs. They went through a little bit of adversity, but they played through that, and then they were able to get stops when they needed, and they were able to close out the game when we had the opportunity to. So,
and you mentioned not doing it again. You guys were 6-7 when after that game, one game under 500 after the loss. You've now rounded off 8 wins in a row to be at 14-7. It is pretty clear that the message from you and the guys, whoever said it, whether it's everybody or one person, the message was received all the way around, because you guys have been playing some great basketball as of late and result in that first win in the region tournament.
Yep, and defense has been just a vocal point for us all year, and that was one where it was a bad taste in our mouth, and we were tired of just giving up points. And it's like we said, you have to develop that defense mentality and have that chip on your shoulder that you're going to go and you can lock teams down, and you're going to enjoy doing it, and it's going to lead to the rest of your game. So, and we've had some really good defensive performances over the stretch of the last 8 games. And it's like when you have a cold shooting night, like we had one against Littlewood where we didn't shoot the ball very well, but you have to be able to rely on your defense to get you stops. And when you can win games like that are kind of ugly, where it's a defensive battle, it gives you just a little bit more confidence each time you go out.
And that's the going into now Friday's game against Shining Butte, a team that you beat at home earlier in the season, but that's the crazy thing about what you guys are going through right now. You play a team on Tuesday, you're the 3-6 matchup, you're the 3 seed, but you lost the 6 seed. Now you're going to go take on the 2 seed, the 2-3 matchup, but you beat the 2 seed. So that kind of tells you, one, how basketball can be a different game every night, but also the fact that you have a lot of confidence against this Shining Butte team because you've already beat them at home.
Yep, and We've kind of seen that. We saw them once at home, kind of like you said, and we were able to watch their game last night. And it's like we said, we have a lot of respect for just the group of kids they have up there. They got a really nice group, really nice team, and they play really hard. They're kind of a little bit like us. They got a couple older classmen that help, and then they've got some younger guys that have really stepped up in their roles throughout the year, and you can tell they're just getting a little bit more confident each game that they play. So we know that it's going to be one of those games where it's like it's going to be a dogfight for a full 32 minutes, and we have to be up to the task.
It's basically by the time that this, when you play on Friday, it will be March 1st, but it's basically a month ago that you played Shining Butte. What would you see different from when you guys played them to what you saw last night, being able a chance to watch a little bit of that game and getting ready for Friday?
They've made a couple adjustments. First time we played them, they started a 6'5" and a 6'7". That gave them a little bit more size. And then last night they went a little bit smaller just to get a little bit more athletic on the floor. So we're expecting maybe to go a little bit smaller so that they have more of a matchup for maybe Brock or one of our guards. Just when they start big, they get a lot of rebounding, but they struggle a little bit staying with teams. So there was one adjustment there, and by going smaller, they play a little bit faster on offense. So one thing we'll have to key in on is really transition defense and matching up and not allowing just those easy transition threes or easy transition layups. And we can slow them down and force them to play a little bit slower than they want to. That'll help us defensively as well.
Talking with Joey Fisher here of the Stanley County Buffaloes, who will play Friday against Shining Butte. And DT and I were talking about it, I think, Tuesday morning or even Monday morning, of the fact that you guys were going to Shining Butte School to play that game on Tuesday. And then you go back there on Friday. Obviously, Shining Butte will have the home court advantage. It's their home court. But it's a unique scenario that you guys will be familiar with that court, not because you played them early in the season, because you did play them in Fort Pierre, but the fact that you played them on Tuesday. So the home court advantage kind of goes away a little bit with the court itself. Obviously, the fans for Shining Butte will be there, and it's tough to win on the road and all that stuff. But you're in a little unique scenario of feeling a little bit more at home because you just played there on Tuesday. Do you feel like that will be a benefit to you guys, having played Tuesday at Shining Butte and now playing Friday there again?
Yeah, for sure. It's like we kind of told them last time after the win, like that place is going to be rocking Friday night. they love their basketball, and it's going to be a packed house, and it's going to be loud, and it's going to be one of the cooler environments they've had the chance to play in. And they got a little glimpse of it last night, and being able to kind of experience that a little bit, especially with a full house, it's only going to pay dividends for them on Friday, and it's a good opportunity for them, and we're excited to have the chance to go back up and play.
Well, it was a couple years ago that the Stanley County Buffaloes went to the SODAC 16. A big deal because I think in that SODAC 16 format, that was the first time that the Buffaloes had made the SODAC 16, or at least had been a while since then. Now you get the opportunity again, one game away from making that in your first year as the head coach as well, but being part of the coaching staff the last couple of years too. But how significant is this for this Buffalo team to be in this spot right now? Especially, we have some of the older guys on this team that want to go out on top and be able to go to the SODAC 16, but still those young guys that are building confidence and building for still the future of Stanley County Buffalo basketball. How significant is this game for the Buffaloes and for the town of Fort Pierre even?
Coming in just with 3 wins last year, that was kind of just left a sour taste in our mouth. So just being able to turn it around and have the season we've had this year it's a big confidence booster. But with this group of kids especially, they're never satisfied. They're always hungry. They want to continue to get better. They want to continue to they love the game of basketball. So I would say it's definitely a big one for them. They want to be able to go out there and prove a lot of people wrong. When we started this year, we asked them to pick a slogan in their mentality, and the slogan they picked was "Prove them wrong." So just that kind of goes into with the attitude and then the way we play as well. So it definitely has some significance. But it's like we say, we can't look in too much to one game. We got to go play Friday night. It's another basketball game, and then we'll move on and look forward from there.
Well, and the significant, or not the significance, but the slogan of "Prove 'em wrong." How key is that, or I guess not key, but poetic maybe is it that you get a chance to go on the road, where a hard thing to do to win on the road. You see a lot of 1 and 2 seeds to make the SODAC 16, so another chance to prove them wrong and to make the SODAC 16.
Yep, exactly. And one thing we've developed this year is we like playing on the road. We kind of have that road mentality, so I think that'll help us as well. Some teams don't like going on the road, and it's like we enjoy being able to go out and do that and be a part of those environments. And I think that's going to be a big factor for us as well, just being able to go establish that mentality and then just play the way we want Buffalo basketball to be on Friday.
Again, talking with Joey Fisher here of the Stanley County Buffaloes. And, Coach, before we wrap it up here, the final question is, biggest key for the Buffaloes to get the win on Friday and advance to the SODAC 16?
I'd say the biggest key is defensively. We have to set the tone right away. We know it's going to be a full 32-minute physical battle. So setting the tone defensively right away from the start and getting some easy ones. And then the thing is, we just got to stay true to ourselves and play Buffalo basketball. They're going to try to do some things that maybe try to speed us up more than we want to play, and we have to play at our pace. If we can play the game at our pace and dictate kind of what happens, I think we'll be in a really good spot Friday.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time as always. It's been fun talking to you throughout the year. Last Coach's Corner of the year as well. So I appreciate the time. Good luck on Friday, and hopefully we'll be talking again soon, getting ready for a SODAC 16 game.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
As Joey Fisher of the Stanley County Buffaloes. We'll return with more Coach's Corner after this here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
Why am I so sore? There are everyday moments.
Hey, hold the ladder! Hold the ladder!
Yeah, that hurt. And there are epic moments.
Slide! College! Class of 1995!
When a moment creates a health need, visit the experts at Avera Orthopedics. We're moving health forward so you can tell the story. Learn more at avera.org/orthopedics.
No one likes to have electrical problems, but when they happen, call Todd's Electric at 223-2518. With over 30 years of experience, Todd's Electric can handle any type of electrical problem, whether it's residential, commercial, or agriculture. Their knowledgeable staff knows and understands the importance of your home, business, or ag facility and are prepared to help. That number again is 223-2518. Todd's Electric Service, serving the Pierre-Fort Pierre area. Todd's Electric Service, the line to power. It takes hard work to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than just sports. It also goes for your financial goals. You work hard for your money. You deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. Your local Edward Jones financial advisor can help. If your investments aren't getting you closer to the win, visit edwardjones.com or stop by your local Pierre area Edward Jones office for a financial review. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Let me talk to you.
You're listening to Coach's Corner on Central South Dakota's sports leader, KCCR.
Yeah.
And back here in the KCCR studios one more time here as the season wraps up for Coach's Corner. We'll return back in the fall of 2024. But here tonight we want to thank our coaches, Steve Steele of the Hawaii Capitals, also as well Jim Medina of the Hawaii Lady Capitals, Kirk Bebout of the Pierre Governor girls basketball team, Brandon Kusler of the Pierre boys basketball team, as well as also Joey Fisher of the Stanley County boys basketball team. We've got Pierre basketball coming up on Friday. Coverage will tip off at 6 o'clock here on KCCR and on YouTube at KCCR Sports. And also, don't forget, we've got all 11 games of the girls state hockey tournament this weekend. The boys will be next weekend. We've got the girls tournament this weekend. All 11 games on Capital City Rock and on YouTube at Capital City Rock Sports. As Jim Lloyd will join me for the call of all 11 of those games. We're looking forward to what will be such a fun weekend up in Watertown, and we'll have all those games for you. So make sure you tune in for that. And one final time, we will be back in the fall with Coach's Corner. It's been another successful year, another successful season of Coach's Corner, and we are looking forward to the fall 2024 to get back in the swing of things, which will be talking a lot of football when we get back to Coach's Corner in the fall of 2024. Again, thanks to our coaches here tonight, and thanks to our coaches throughout the entire year. It's been a fun year of Coach's Corner once again. We hope you have a good rest of your Wednesday, and looking forward to the fall of 2024 for Coach's Corner here on KCCR and online at kccrradio.com.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner on KCCR and online at kccr.com. Coach's Corner is brought to you by Todd's Electric, Shane's Pharmacy, Lamb Motors, Avera, Oahe Federal Credit Union, Edward Jones Financial, Graham Tire, Kruger Contracting, CHS River Plains, Gales Gas, Bank West, and Capital City Ford, Lincoln, and Toyota. To hear the show again, head to YouTube at KCCR Sports for shows at any time. This has been a special presentation of Riverfront Broadcasting Sports, Central South Dakota's sports leader.